everyone, and welcome to Le Journal de Sylvie channel. I am excited today because I want to share with you my first travel flip through. This is a traveler notebook that I dedicated for my trip to Paris that my husband and I took September 2019, before all this madness started. So I'm gonna have this video on two parts. Part one, just to flip through. It's very exciting for me. It makes me happy to share with you my pages. Hopefully I inspire someone, or you can, let me know how can inspire me if you have any nice tips to share with me. And the second video will be about the material that I use, that I found it very handy and very relevant to my European themed trip. So this was a 6-day trip to Paris, and I used for this Wanderings traveler journal. It's real leather, it's vintage, brown, I love it. You can feel the weary feeling. I don't know if you can see. I didn't buy Midori in the beginning. I have few of those. This is pretty much half of the price. Like, I think you can find it in Amazon with $23. I was expecting much less for that price, but wow, I'm impressed. So if you don't want to go for Midori, or you're on journaling on budget, I highly recommend this product. That's my first review. They have this little brand, it gives you very relevant to traveling. It takes the Midori inserts. It has the, I added this, the traveler companies, whatever nameplates they call it, and I had little Paris vintage stamp taken from French stamps that I'm going to share in the other material with you. So it was perfect. I added my Tour Eiffel and French themed chunks. So it has this little thing. I'm gonna make another video for that particular brand, but this is how it's called. Sometimes I keep this because I use it in collage for my travel journal, and I think it looks cute. So that's really good. If you don't want to go for the $45, that's good. So let's go through it. I'm excited. So this was our anniversary trip to Paris, and I don't know if you can see, I had here the 3 pockets, that the transparent pockets from Traveler's company. I personally don't recommend at all. They stick, they mess up the material, the paper material that I put in. It just didn't work for me. I saw several videos that kind of had the same issue, so I removed them. It was just nicer. So I did use one insert for the entire trip. That's it. And two other product items here. So that's my insert for my entire trip. Of course, lovely journaling, you have no rules. You always come back and you said, oh, I could have done this better, but then you have already memories with your journal and you don't want to change it. So I did cover the insert with a vintage paper that has a very French theme. Everything here is written in French, carte postale, and it actually has, convenient enough, the map of Paris with all the districts, crossed by the Seine River, La Seine, so it was perfect, and the washi tapes that kind of made it glued to the insert was with the small Tour Eiffel Paris themed as well, all over here. So I was very happy with how it ended up. It was very French. Again, I'm a very big fan of European art and history. So in Paris, they've done great with the brochures and the tickets of all the museums or the castles you visit, because they have very nice pictures in them. So that's pretty much gonna cover more than half of the material you need to decorate your pages. Just grab more than one brochure, even if it's another language. That's my first tip. So I started with a very, of course, iconic Paris theme, the Mona Lisa. And this is a picture for me that my husband took with his camera. He loves photography, and I'm not very photogenic, so whenever I see a picture for me that I like, I kind of found it perfect. I printed it with my printer. That's another video because I have a lot to say about that printer, the HP. And I used to washi tapes remainings. I feel bad to you know, throw the washi tapes. So I found it came up really nice the way that those two with travel, the black and black. I don't know, I really was happy with how it came out. This is another French stamp that I got. This is the blank insert of Traveler's company. Most of my work is done with the craft pages, but anyway. So this is the first page. I had the visit to Versailles. So my tip, whenever you don't know what to write or ideas of what to write, some people write what they did during the trip or during that day. Some other people write ideas that came to them or something they reflected on when they visited that place or that place inspired them with, which is the case here. Or just write something that reminds you of the place. These washi tapes, I love those washi tapes with full of examples of art. This is taken from the brochure. I mean, look at guys, I never have a better size even. It's almost like they knew our journal size. And this is the other side, so I dip it with the washi tape so I can not miss the kings that lived in that castle. This is some historical information about the kings in Louis, it's the 14th. This is taken from Steve Furwick's book. So again, I have here the visit. Those are pictures taken by my husband's camera, and I printed them. They look okay. I mean, this is us. I highly recommend to visit the gardens of Versailles, not just the castle. It's a must-see in my humble opinion. This is taken from the brochure and some of the paintings inside. Now, all of that, again, another brochure. So this king was obviously fascinated with the Greek mythology, and all the ceilings of that castle was with that theme, and a washi tape that will never be more relevant to Paris. And this is more of the more of that brochure that kind of pictured the room and the bedroom and the cellar. So those envelopes, which are very French here, I wrote Chateau de Versailles. I found them very handsy and very chic. And this is another pink with some of the places. This was taken from paintings of the ceilings that I like, and sometimes I cut and I make it cuter, you know. More of the paintings I visited. So when not necessarily have a lot of things to write, I just want to see again the paintings, and that's enough to take me back and make me relive those beautiful memories. You know, a picture speaks 1,000 words, so everything here is taken from the brochure with the exception of the washi tapes used. That I have already one, by the way, that had this one, which is I saw it in real life in the museum. So you can write a small piece of information. It would be nice if you know the name of the painting. This was a page from the Louvre, and again, I tend to cover the blank insert. So I stopped buying blank inserts because I always like to write on darker. So I thought this black background, those were paper that I bought from Amazon, gave it some royal richness, and all of this is taken from the brochures and the collage, so I thought it looked nice. And of course, again, the iconic, that was the Louvre main page in the brochure again. So that was an exhibition. I like my journal to be a little bit educative as well, and I want to share with you some of the art information. This is a famous female painter. She was pioneer in that domain, in the impressionist type of paintings. So you will enjoy her work if you like Monet and this type. And all of this is taken from the brochure. All I needed to do is just write the names not really much. And I wrote a little bit brief about her. She had a very supportive husband that supported her, because in the 1800s it's not common for women to lead in that. So that's some of her paintings. I felt bad to cut, so that's more of her paintings. And surprisingly enough, after we came back from Paris 2 months later, there was an exhibition for this particular painter in the Houston Fine Arts Museum, which I visited, and I took more material for her. That day was very special. Journaling wise, I want to talk a little bit about how I created this little thing. That chateau is super nice if you have the time to visit, 40 minutes away from Paris with a train. I did visit that place when I was 16 years old with my parents, and I kept since then these vintage postcards, and I wished one day that I would go back to that place. Look at this vintage one, it's just amazing. I don't know, it's probably the technology back then that they used to look so nice. So I was blessed to go back, and this time with my husband, and pictures looks bluish. It was overcast, but I think it's the printer. Anyway, the Duke that lived in that castle was fascinated with medieval manuscripts, and he had this amazing library in his castle, and he had this little miniature book. So I asked my husband to take it with a good lens, and then I printed it in the pocket, and then I cut it, and this little thing makes me very happy, because I feel like I have the book, you know. It doesn't look nice if you print it in the standard size, because this way you feel like you have the piece itself. I don't know if it makes sense, but that is actually taken from the page of the manuscripts, that one of the colored medieval manuscripts. I think it's taken from a biblical scene or something. And look at this napkin. I mean, look at this napkin. It looks like a towel. I felt so bad. Of course, I didn't use it because we dined in the same castle. They have a restaurant. And I didn't know where to put this picture, so I ended up putting it here. That's me in the restaurant of the place. And you can have more stuff here with this envelope. You know, those are the tickets. I mean, you really can't complain of getting enough material from their tickets and passes, and more of their brochure. That's another view for that castle. Beautiful, beautiful. More comments. And I have here that postcard that is paper. It's not a real postcard. And again, the castle, and that's me. Okay, so we went with the train. I had a stamp. Most of the stuff I write in English or French, but because I grew up in Egypt, I also write Arabic sometimes. And here I was expressing how happy I am that I visited that place with my husband. This is the first place we went to when we first arrived, and that reminds me that you just decide what you want to do with your journal. You don't have to do it per day 1, day 2, day 3. It's how you feel. Let it flow, you know. And this was a garden, so I covered that with a theme of outdoors. Beautiful garden called Les Jardins de Luxembourg, the Gardens of Luxembourg. More pictures here. It has a little chateau as well. Another idea of what you can write is what you did, or maybe a song that reminds you of the place. You can write the lyrics of it. So that's another nice idea you can have. And we moved to Paris downtown. Of course, you look at the page and you feel, oh, I should have done this differently. But I like the old mood, the stickers. Everything here is classic Paris. Those are the pockets, guys. I don't know if you can see them, but I cannot get this ticket out, and I bet if I try, that was the ticket we took for the boat, Bateau Mouche, where you take a tour in the river. I bet it will mess it up, so I don't know, this thing doesn't work. That's another thing for the boat. The Arc de Triomphe. Again, look how fascinating is the material. This is the ticket, 12 euros. I can put something here. And this was a brochure explaining how they designed it. So I had plenty of figures for the Arc de Triomphe. I didn't really have much to say here, so I just finished the place with some washi tapes relevant to Tour Eiffel and stuff. That was a notebook that I bought, but I didn't know it would look like this. and I don't find them very handy, so it didn't break my heart to take the cover because it was Paris theme. So I thought typical classic red and blue, very French. That was the hotel where we're staying. In front, that brochure is from the hotel. That's particularly our room, but it was not an hotel in the beginning because it looks so much like an old house. And that is where we have to bring our breakfast every morning. And they are the hotel we were at, very classic, so it inspired me with this classic silverware. So from this point on, again, when you don't know exactly what you write, all you need to do is relive the visually what you relive. There are pictures that my husband took, and again, those are taken from brochure. The carte postale, I did this so I can print more of the paintings that I took with my phone. Decorating the page is easy when you put a vintage background like this page. It just doesn't look as nice when you put it on the blank. I don't know if it's me. Another one here. That's Paris theme. So I came across the Victor Hugo Street. Again, I did the same thing. I printed it, but then I cut it. I found it more flattering if I only stick a particular nameplate, and that's famous cafe there that's probably showed up in every museum we visited. So that's me in front of the Tour Eiffel, and the same impressionist, more of her paintings. They're very beautiful. I cut this from a brochure and it looked very nice with this background. I was happy with the way it came up with. Because my husband takes a lot of pictures, he saved me some money instead of buying postcards, so I ended up printing this to remind me with the amazing artwork they do in the, and again it looks nice because sometimes you can cut it, it looks even prettier. Female figures, I thought this carte postale added with this round some nice lettering, and you can mini and still use this space for more of the paintings. And I complemented this with the washi tapes that I have for Renaissance female figures. And finally, this is my last page. And my last page was basically what happened behind the scenes page. I felt bad throwing all the remainings of the washi tapes that I had spread all over my desk. So I just created to put them in one, and this is basically the ingredient I used for my Paris journal. This is what went wrong, but then I saved the day and I made it, I messed up this brochure they had. Finally, I did a collage of the small, all of this is taken from the Louvre Museum. So if you ever visited that museum, at least grab three, because you're gonna use it lightly. And that's a definition of what is art. I like that collage. It's actually 2 layers. It's not really direct to the cover of the insert. So that was my insert here. I'm happy with it. I can add some more pictures that I think about. Maybe a couple of more pictures for me and my husband. Finally, I had this pocket that is like this pocket here. Yeah, I bought this from Amazon. I think it was $10 or $11. It's very, not paper and not fabric, I don't know what is it, but it does the job, and I thought the color is very relevant to the theme. Okay, so this is basically when I ended up putting stuff that I didn't put in my journal because for some reason, I didn't manage to make it look nice with the rest of the vintage theme. An extra ticket from the underground. This is the extra brochure from the hotel, because I used one inside, but that kind of gives me the whole thing, including all their even executive rooms. It's called Hotel of Luxembourg Park. Is just a very nice hotel, very nice. We found a good package with the tickets, and it was kind of a good deal. And the last part of my journal, I'm sorry, I think that's too long. This craft, It does make something funny here, but anyway, that's not the topic now. I'm very happy with this little collage because I thought it's very French. This is one of the pictures we took with our camera and I printed it. This one came up nice. The rest is French themed stamps and this, so I thought it's nice. Again, I had some extra stuff. This postcard comes with the this leather journal, so extra postcards. This is again another intact napkin from the place we had breakfast. I love this French. And from another leather journal I had, they left me this inside for a French cafe, so I took it from there and I said, what a better, that's the best place to have it. And this was one brochure for the Versailles, and I took this picture in Versailles. I thought it's too nice. I don't know, I wasn't able really, you know, to cut it and collage it, so I just decided to leave it nice, and because it gets really big when you open it and see all the gardens. That's pretty much what we did in the 6 days, the main visits. This is a map for France. And the rest here, which is the remaining of this, that's empty, but any extra pictures that you printed and you thought, you know, you don't want to use or you didn't end up using, I use those brown things very often to kind of maintain 2 pictures on the side. Is nice. And that too was a bookmark from another leather journal that I bought, that I thought, no, your place is here. And those are a couple of train tickets. Then when we went to Chantilly, this trip that I told you about, was very nice. You can appreciate, I can put this back here. So that was pretty much it, my 1 week in Paris, and I appreciate very much, of course, your time and letting me share with you. It just makes me happy to share, because it makes me happy to see also all of others' pages. That looks neat. More videos to come about the material I used. If you're planning any European trip, there's plenty of stationery that I thought made it look nicer. And thank you for watching.